So welcome everyone. I just wanted to get on here before we start working on our painting. I'm going to be showing you how I work from my sketchbooks. You can see here, this is an oil painting, and how I work from my sketchbooks and get them onto the canvas. It's a fun process. I have multiple sketchbooks with similar references, or at least references that I want to incorporate into the paintings. And I hope that you enjoy this one, and I'll see you guys next week. Well, welcome to the studio. And this week I decided to do a voiceover because I was just filming as I was working on this project, and wasn't sure what I was going to do with it. So that was the smaller canvases to show you the brand that I'm using. These are 11 by 14 panels, and they're MDF boards with 100% cotton. It's just an inexpensive brand like Marcelli Studio or something like that. You get it I got these at Job Lots. I'm going to gesso it with at least one layer of that latex acrylic gesso, because I had seen some artists saying that they didn't like to use any MDF board because it warps. So I thought that I would add another layer to prevent any warping. And I'm just going in with my 50-cent brush. I think you can get like a million of them for 50 cents. Anywhere. I get them again at Job Lots or the dollar store or wherever. I also use a basting brush, so you can go to the grocery store and pick up painting supplies. I bet you didn't know that. Just finishing that layer up. I think I only did do one gesso layer. You know, I should do a project and we not gesso and see if we do get any warping. I haven't yet. And I have a project now that I'm using oils, because it says you can use oils, which I think you saw in the beginning of this video. An example. That was what I'm working on, and that's not even warping. So I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to experience warping, but I've been really happy with these, and these are inexpensive. And my thought is I'm going to use those small ones that I had shown you and do practice every morning. This is the image from my sketchbook. And I put it into an app. I think it's called Drawing Grid, and I use inch squares. So I put in the size of my canvas that I'm going to be transferring it to, and it puts the grids on the photo on the iPad. And then I measure out the inch grid on my canvas so that it matches. And then we will later on, once I get that laid out, in each square, I just draw what's in each square. So that's really fun. It's called the gridding method. And I use this a lot. I mean, I use other methods too, but this one is my go-to. I love it. It's fun. And I'm just using a watercolor pencil. I don't remember what color it was. It was like a purpley pink color. Doesn't really matter what color you use. I do try and keep in mind of, a color that's good for an undertone, either an orange or a red, or I wouldn't use yellow because you can't see it, but something that you can see, something that is good, you know, that you see people toning canvases with. Blues are good. Holy cow. It is so cold out today. I think that the whole country is experiencing this in the US, but it is so cold. We went out this morning and ran, you know, a few errands for a few hours, and we came back, and now I'm doing this editing. It's a good day to be editing videos because it is so cold. There's nothing to do outside, that's for sure. We got that snow coming in. And this picture on the iPad is my digital version. So what I did was we go to this location. This actually is a location, and they are my photos. The only thing that I digitally did was made it painterly looking and added the figures. But the depot and the which is a historical society now in that train, and the park area is actually a place that we visit, and we eat at the restaurant across the street. So every time I go to the restaurant, I take pictures of that train. And so then I put them in my Procreate program and made a digital photo of it. So now you can see that I just start somewhere, and I start with I like the figures, but and you just count whatever squares you're in, and you just draw whatever shape is in the squares that you're on. So it's not a quick method, but I like it. I don't think that art is quick. I think that art is a slow process because I like the process. I like the creative process. I know some people want to get in there and get it done and move on to the next one, but I enjoy being creative, and I like the slow process and letting things develop. So sometimes what I think I'm gonna do ends up being something different, and my paintings change and evolve. So, but everybody's different. That's fine. I know my hand's creating a shadow, but you know, I don't have a ton of lighting in the studio, and this is late at night. Sorry, I guess I'm tired too. The studio dog and I are definitely sitting with our heated blanket, which we got for Christmas 2 years ago. It's our favorite, isn't it, Bee? Best gift ever. I'm recording and editing in a new app. I'm not sure if any of you use it or are aware of it, but in YouTube now, and I think they started offering this in like September or October, but I just found out about it. It's YouTube Create. I think that's what the app is called. It's good and I like it, but I'm telling you, my favorite part of it is in this voiceover. The recording is definitely way better than iMovie. When I am in iMovie and creating and editing, and I have to do a voiceover, it goes over the video and I can't see what I'm talking about. So this is like under it and I can actually see the video part. So this, I do like this. This is way better. I'm not sure. I think I'll still probably use both apps, but if anybody has used this app, please give me some tips because it's not super user friendly at all, but I do like this portion of it. Once I get this drawn in, and because I liked this composition that's on my iPad now that I had originally created, but at Christmas I had gotten some new watercolor paint, so I took out my sketchbook and my iPad and painted this, and I painted it in my sketchbook from this digital picture, but the composition is different, but I like the colors of my sketchbook. But so I use them. I end up using them both. But yeah, I had to fudge it because I like a sketchbook that's, what is it, 5x7 or something like that, so that it is pretty close to when you do the 2 pages spread, you get an 8x10. So that's nice because I can use that and translate that to canvas very easily and readily. So I do that quite often. Except in my sketchbook, there was a section in the middle between the train and the building that was quite wide open space, so I had to make up the middle portion of the painting, but that's okay. I create like that too all the time. I don't necessarily have to create a grid. I just, I knew I liked this composition, so that's why I'm doing it. But I can just go in and paint in my sketchbook, and I do that quite often. And then I paint and repaint and take references and make new paintings. And a lot of times I just take elements or colors or marks and then create something on canvas with all of those things from my sketchbooks. That's also fun too. All right, we finally got it all drawn in. And this is how I erase the lines. You don't really have to, but I also I think I liked that purpley pink color, and so I was using it to tone. Sorry, I must be tired, to tone the canvas, but we end up painting over it anyway. But you totally could just start painting right now. But you can see that blue and that ochre, and we're going to combine those two because when I did the last year we did greens. I did a video on how to mix green. I'll also link that video along with, we painted that scene of the this right here. We painted this in the 12 Days of Christmas challenge. So I'll link, and that's a 2-part video. So I'll link those 3 videos in the description. This is, we're going to fix the graphite lines with, that's just a Krylon fixative. I don't always use Krylon. I don't care the brand. They all work the same. I just happen to have Krylon this time. So I don't have any one that I like over the other, is what I'm saying. I like them all. So this is and I'll also link that video. You can see that it's got blue all over the outside of the tube. That is the blue that the studio dog got into when I first bought it, and it's still going strong. It didn't dry out, but that was quite funny. So I'll link that video too. And that is permanent blue. Permanent light blue, I think it is, or something like that. It's a Liquitex Basic. That is my go-to brand. I have some more like crafty acrylic paints, and I do use them, and you'll see that I think the ochre is one of those. And as I'm running out of those paints, I'm replacing them with the Liquitex. Liquitex is I think it's a good bang for your buck. I mean, you can get more expensive Liquitex, but this Liquitex Basics, make sure you get basic, because that's a lesser expensive, but I don't think that it's cheap. I think that it's a good bang for your buck. I don't mix the ochre and the blue evenly throughout the paint. I like to leave it, with some yellow color and some blue. I think that creates interest too. I just let it mix what it wants to mix on the canvas as I'm spreading it out. I mean, I mix it a little bit in the palette, but not completely mix. You can see. And it's just a thin layer. I can still see the graphite drawing underneath, and I don't have to see it in every single detail, because just drawing it in graphite is just to help me keep moving forward in the creative process. And, things may change. It just is helping me, visualize where I want to go, how I want it to look in the end. But that it's not set in stone, and I do end up changing some things. So once this is done, then I'll show you how that looks. Acrylic does dry darker, so keep that in mind too. There you go. That's how it looks dried. And we'll take the Sketchbook version, because I like the colors in this one better. I think here I was saying how I didn't like the composition because of that big space in the middle. It's not terrible. I certainly may paint it that way too at some point, but today I didn't like that composition. That brush is a dagger brush. I love it because you can use it as a flat. You can use that point. That is definitely one of my favorite brushes. I think it's just a Master's Touch too. I think I just got it at Hobby Lobby. But I use it all the time. Just going in with a dark color because that's under the eaves on the building. I don't think that it's black, but could be. It could be black. I don't typically paint in just straight black, but those paints in the sketchbook are just, I got them for Christmas. I painted that Christmas Day. I had brought my art bag to Christmas, and so I already had my sketchbook with me. And I got those paints for Christmas. They're not any expensive brand. I think they're just something that my mother-in-law got at Ocean State Job Lots or something like that. Like with the canvases. She got me the canvas. And they're fun. They're fun to use in the sketchbook. I use my sketchbooks. I don't have any rules. My sketchbooks are my safe space. I just create. I don't worry about archival or this can't go with this, or these aren't expensive so I can't paint with them, or these are too expensive, I don't want to use them. I just use my art supplies and just have fun. I don't worry about I'm painting from somebody else's painting. If I find something that inspires me, I just paint it and put it in my sketchbook. This brown is, I think you could see it was just a craft paint, like Apple Barrel or American Deco. I think I have some of those brands too. There's nothing wrong with those paints. I had painted with them up, and I still am painting with them. I do find that they do have that more, what people say, plasticky look. I didn't know that you could get acrylics that didn't dry that way. So when I discovered Liquitex, then I've switched over. But I also find that well, you'll see later on. I'll show you another trick that I use. But can you see why I'm using aquas or teal or that color as my base layer? That orange and yellows will just pop. And if you're somebody that likes to paint sunsets in your landscapes, I would suggest using a teal for your under painting. For toning your canvas, that's what I'm trying to say. I don't paint, in a solid ochre color. I have brown and some of that, well, I think I'm mixing some of that teal color in there too. Just vary my color. It harmonizes the painting because teal is already in there, so it doesn't matter. Some places I use pure ochre color. Some you can see I mix in other colors on my palette. I just try to create interests. And there's no formula to it. It's just don't always pick up just the straight color. I do keep in mind that over to the left there where I pointed and up around that circular area, I might probably put more browns in that area because that's going to be a grassy area, so there might be shadows. So that would be the only thing. And that middle area is more pure ochre color because it's more open and more sunlight would be hitting there probably. So, I mean, I do keep those kind of thoughts in as I'm painting, but this isn't the final layer either. This is just the blocking in layer. Just setting in color, it's going to be kind of like our roadmap. So it's not set in stone. And we're going to adjust some of these colors too, so. This will be probably a 2-part series, maybe even 3, depending on if you guys want to see me finishing it off in oil paints. That could be fun. There, you can really see that color pop on that teal. We'll start on the train. That's a really dark color. I don't think that it's black though, because black doesn't tend to be a color that I use a lot. But I do love this darker color that is a charcoal. I don't remember. I can't read on the label what it is. It's worn off, but it's I remember it's a something charcoal, and it's one of my favorites. It does look dark on this video though. I hadn't painted like this in a while. Last year, and I think I still really like it, is I've been starting off really abstract, and lots of times it's just marks. Starting off with color pencils and graphite pencils and all of this, and then moving on to collage and then as soon as I start seeing shapes or something that I want to bring out more, I start refining, and then generally I have been finding something in my sketchbook or something that I painted in the past that it reminds me of, and I just use that as the reference and finish it off there. So it comes out not as an abstract, it just starts off abstract and then becomes a little bit more of a impressionistic style. I really have been enjoying painting that way. This is, maybe that's why I'm, painting it slow, because I haven't painted like this in a long time. Plus, I'm trying to stay in the lines. It feels like coloring. I'm just cleaning off from the palette extra paint, and I know that is going to be dark. Like, you want to start with an acrylic, you want to start with your darks and work to your lights. So that's fine, it works. Just use up the paint. And this is a watercolor pencil, and I discovered that I might not have gotten it proportioned exactly where I wanted it, and there is a little bit of a gap in between the conductor and the train, and I thought it might be fun to see if I can use watercolor pencils on top of the acrylic. So I'm just drawing with a watercolor pencil on top of the acrylic. We don't actually do anything else with it, but I'm thinking that maybe we'll come in with paint on top. I don't know. We'll see. It's still just a red gate. And this is the trick. I like to use gesso as my white. It's transparent. It's not, quite as thick and opaque as some. And here I'm showing you that it's matte. So it dries matte. So mixing it with your acrylic colors makes them also dry a little bit more matte. And so they don't look so plasticky. That's my trick. I don't know if any of you guys use gesso as your white, but try it. I think you should try it. And let's see, we're going to paint sunset so you can see why I am using that teal. If you didn't figure it out on the path, it looks so good. I love how that yellow looks on top of that teal color. Teal's my favorite color, if you haven't figured it out. Yeah, looking at the panel now, and because everything's dry, I don't see anything that's really like really shiny, except for that roof, and it's not bad. But because we did use quite a bit of water, so that helps too. That's another trick too, is water down your acrylics. We're gonna go in and paint some of the clouds. I will tell you that they are not my favorite, so I'm not sure if they're gonna stay or if we're gonna make them more pink. I'm not sure. I think though that it's because I don't like them because that purple and the orange and yellow, see, it's like it's not the same value. It's a darker value. So I think that's what's bugging me, but they're there for now. And like I said, this isn't the final layer, so I'm sure that they're going to be adjusted. I do like the clouds in my sketchbook. Painting in the little boy and the little girl. Yeah, I dropped it on the table and I really end up making a mess with it. But I'll use what I spilled out of there and put that on the canvas so nothing goes to waste. But if you guys have figured out a secret of not making a mess when you paint, let me know. I like the blue color too. It's a navy blue. That's one of my favorites too. It's great for skies. The little boys' overalls are so cute. So again, I'm just, yeah, now I realize I'm getting it on the back of the canvas. Using paint that I have on the palette. I know that the conductor's gonna be blue too, so I try to use the same color all over the canvas. But it was so nice to hang out with you guys and be able to paint today. And until next time, I hope that your paints flow with peace. But I'll leave you right here and we'll see you next time in the studio.